Hola! So I'm making a video about a Bible study that my church is doing. My church is Parkcrest Christian Church in Long Beach, California. But something that my pastor, Pastor Anthony, is doing is he's creating a Bible study that anybody in the world can join. Anybody at any time can do this Bible study with the whole church, and it's called Impossible Unity. And let's just go ahead and jump in on the video that you can watch right now as the first video. And this is what I will be covering in this video, which is the first week of. So here is right there. Okay, awesome. So you can scan that QR code and watch the first video with me. You can go ahead and do that now, and I will hold up this. I'll hold up this as like, this is where you can come back. Okay, great. So you might have gone and watched that video, or maybe you chose not to. Whichever. I'm just going to be discussing that first video with you as if you were in my Bible study. So let's just read what this page. So this book is to accompany the videos, but you don't necessarily need this book to get the most out of the video. I'm just here. I want to accompany you with this, so I'm going to bring the book to you, and you can watch the videos on with yourself. So let's get into it. I'm going to read this for you. This is called The Impossible Unity Start. Welcome to Life Group Session 1 of Impossible Unity. You'll begin by watching Impossible Conversations Part 1 to start the dialogue. So hopefully you've gone and done that already. What do we usually mean when we say unity? When people talk about unity, they often mean getting along or avoiding conflict. But biblical unity is deeper than comfort or niceness. It requires truth, humility, and love, especially across lines of difference. Why is unity so hard to live out, even with other Christians? Most of us want unity in theory, but we don't always know how to practice it in real life. What gets in the way? Pride, pain, assumptions, and fear often sit just under the surface, shaping how we treat each other without even realizing it. Unity isn't passive. It's something that we must pursue. This week, you'll be challenged to reflect on your own posture towards unity and consider what it might look like to take the first step, even if it feels uncomfortable. So, you've gone and watched the video, and here are some of the notes that I have taken from the video, which was, what are the barriers to unity? And I wrote our backgrounds, our circumstances, and one of the first things that's mentioned in the video is our baggage and our selfishness. I'm going to read over my notes, and then I'm going to discuss what I think is, the points that stood out to me. So for selfishness, it's, I want to keep mine, and if I accept yours, then I'll lose mine, and I'm right and you're wrong. So that's definitely one of the mentalities of selfishness. Another mentality of selfishness is pride and wanting to hold on to your own belief systems, and just believing that your belief system is the best. So those are the barriers that the video discusses to full unity. And unity meaning, us as a world, us as a world, us as people. Jesus didn't differentiate, I'm not talking about unity in the church. I'm not talking about unity in the YouTube community. I'm talking about unity in the world. What keeps us from being a united world? And so one of the building blocks is conversations with people of diverse backgrounds. In my words, I wrote, to expand unity, it takes conversations with people that are different from you, and people who have, don't necessarily have a personal connection to you, but, you know, might just be a stranger that's sitting next to you at a bus stop, which was mentioned in the video, or it might be, you know, somebody that you're sitting next to in a waiting room, and getting into conversation with them to get a little bit of who they are, and something that's outside of your normal bubble. And also what was mentioned was conversations with people you know and trust to heal unity. So one of the gentlemen in the video spoke about how there was a race riot that resulted in the death of his daughter. And he struggled with that because, you know, in him, it created a very deep hatred towards that's, you know, one specific race, which was the Black community. You know, in his specific story, he was talking about how he hated Black people because his daughter died in a Black race riot, you know. But then, you know, he was struggling with that hatred, he was struggling with that pain, and he reached out to somebody that he trusted in Parkcrest Church, and his name is Maurice. And I actually know him personally too. Maurice is one of the people that are in the videos. And he knows and trusts Maurice, and, you know, God was able to speak with him through that conversation of basically releasing him from that mentality that he was the one to put the Black community under trial, you know, and to judge them as the perpetrator of his daughter's murder. You know, all of that was just released because it just wasn't the truth. You know, the truth is, it's not all Black people that killed his daughter. It was, you know, one or two people who made a certain choice, and, you know, that's what ultimately killed his daughter. It was not a whole Black community, and he was able to release that and feel, you know, and forgive and forgive, I think, himself and the Black community as in general, or to just release that pain, because he talked to somebody that he knew and trusted, that was from that specific background. So that ultimately built more unity in him and in his church and in his community, because of the release of pain and the healing, because he had that open and honest conversation with somebody he trusted, which is Maurice, which is a Black man that goes to the same church as he does, which is Parkcrest. So another point about what builds community that I got from the video, which was, it's important to be curious and not judgmental, and being curious about a person versus, you know, being curious about a whole group of people, right? So one of the Black women that was sitting at this table with this conversation was saying that she could just tell when somebody was asking her, you know, her as an individual Black woman, a question about her experience about being a Black woman, or if somebody was asking a question that was aimed towards the whole Black community in general. So it's important, because we need to talk to people as individuals and not talk to people as if they are just, you know, one of a dozen. That, you know, because that already sets up the mentality that, you know, all Black people think the same way, that all Black people live the same way. So that thought, you know, definitely divides people. So when you see somebody as an individual and not part of a group, that's what builds unity, which is the truth, and it's also what the video talks about. But I wanted to really, so this is no longer me looking at the notes of the video. Instead, I want to speak directly to what I feel like is the biggest takeaway, And it was actually said in the first, I'm gonna say first 30 seconds of the video was I think the most important part of the video, which was baggage. No, I'm not saying that the other parts of the video weren't important, but I think, well, you know, I can talk about, I think I could talk about baggage and trauma all day, but I think I'm going to choose to talk about America in particular, and the, you know, the race division between white and black people. It's a really hot topic, you know, and it divides a lot of people on an individual basis, on a family basis, on a community basis, on a state basis, and as a country. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other issues of division or race in other parts of the world. You know, I'm just going to speak on the part of the world that I'm in. You know, I am in America. I'm in California. That's you know, where I'm coming from. So that's where I feel like I can speak from. So what I notice, you know, and my experience is the black people or black community, and to stick with the points, you know, I am generalizing, but I'm more just trying to talk about the story that we're all being told, you know, or that, you know, the biggest belief systems that seem to be pushing the divide. So I'm not supporting it. I don't believe in it, but I just want to put out there what seems to be causing the most tension between, you know, black people and other communities. Is the truth is that black people are black bodies are the basis of the American economy. There's truth in that Wall Street, and economically speaking, they were the first commodity in our economy. They were the first things to be traded on Wall Street. And so, you know, there's a lot of economic building blocks that were built on the black body. It's just part of our history, which, you know, is not something to be proud of. It's not something to be ashamed of. I'm trying to say objectively, our economy was built on slavery. The American economy, the first United States economy was built on slavery. And that is true, and that is traumatic, and that is evil, and that's not okay. It's not okay that happened. And the biggest thing, right, in the first 30 seconds of the video, we said baggage. That's America's baggage. And it's specifically about black people. So that's why I'm talking about this specific topic. It is a baggage that has to do with our whole country, that does have to do with every black body that is in America, or almost every single black body in America that was put here on this, in this country in that way. So the deep truth that I would like to bring this conversation is that healing doesn't come from the person who has, or I should say, the entity that has traumatized you. Healing does not come from the entity that has traumatized you. Meaning, if a snake bites you and you're filled with poison, you're not going to save yourself by chasing that snake and getting an apology for being poisoned. And this doesn't necessarily just have to do with black trauma. but it's the opening and the conversation of what it would mean for America to heal that diversity and for truly, not diversity, I'm sorry, that divide. What I mean, what it would mean for America to heal that divide, and also what it would mean for every single person in America and the world to heal divides, to begin with realizing that every woman that has been raped is not going to be healed by their rapist, and that, you know, every person who has been wronged in any kind of way is not going to be healed by the person who has done them wrong. So it doesn't matter, you know, if people get an apology from the people who have wronged them. That apology is not going to heal. Just like if the snake came and apologized for biting you, it's not going to heal the poison. What I believe and where we can heal is, and I'm going to go back to the big example, the big divide, you know, the big story. The big story. It's a big story. It's a big story in our history. Thank you. It's a big story in our country. I'm going to go back to it. So, to the Black community, you know, to the Black community that continues to carry that trauma that does exist, you know, the pain that does exist from slavery. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that happened. It's not okay that happened. What's gonna make it okay is not necessarily this whole entire country coming and falling to their knees and begging for forgiveness, or, you know, giving money, or giving you know, an economic boost, you know, or economic privileges, which, you know, are all great things. You know, just like getting an apology from a rapist is good. You know, I'm not saying those things should not be given. You know, absolutely not. I'm not opposed to those things. What I'm saying is that's not going to heal the divide. That's just not going to heal the divide. That's not going to heal the heart. That apology from your rapist, or the apology from the ones that hurt you, is not going to heal you. What is going to heal you is that deep understanding of, I didn't deserve that. I did not deserve that. No one deserves, no matter who they are, where they come from, no one deserves that. And you question, what do you mean deserve? And this all circles back because we are all children of God, and we are all paid for the price of Jesus. Every single one of us. And so none of us deserves pain and trauma. And that when you enter that gate of, I am a child of God, when you enter that gate that Jesus opens up, that door that opens up, when you come in and say, I am not my race, I am not my baggage, I am not my pride, I am not my selfishness, I am not my circumstances. That's when you can really hold a place in this world, and you can anchor yourself in that position. I am a child of God. I am a lamb of the good shepherd. I am paid for. I am taken care of. You know, God knows me. God knows that I did not deserve that. And Jesus died for me because of how precious and valuable I am. Period. Every soul on earth is precious and valuable on earth, regardless of background, baggage, circumstance, or selfish mentality. You're still valuable in the eyes of God. And Jesus invites you so much. And since we have free will, we can stay on that side. We can stay on the side of, my background is more important. My circumstances are more important. My baggage is the most important. My selfishness is just who I am. That's just who I am. I am where I come from, or I am, who I am today. My circumstances. I am, this victim of racism. I'm a victim of sexism. I am there. I'm there. That's where you live your life, or or you're in this. You stay in the selfishness of, I want to keep my, mine, and if I accept yours, then I'll lose mine. You can stay there, but it's painful to stay there. It is painful to be divided. It is painful not to feel unified as a family, as as a married couple, as a member of the community. It is hard. It is hard to be divided, because it is a separation from God. It is a separation from God. And once you walk through that gate and you shed that identity and you say, I am none of that. I am just a child of God who has been saved on this earth, on this planet, by Jesus and his sacrifice and his life. He paid the price for me. And all he wants you to do when you are in his care is to follow him. Things become so much more simple when we are not divided as a people. Things become so much more simple when we're not divided as married couples. And I want to bring it back because, and I'll end the video here. Unity is not just some world peace, hippie nonsense. No, I think where unity begins is the inside out. The most important unification you can have is with yourself and God, where you don't separate yourself from God. You've walked this path through Jesus, through the gate, and you're here. You're there, you're committed, you understand that there is no separation between you and God. And God is above you, always. He is the one that makes the commands, the control. He is the one with the understanding, and not you. You are the sheep, and he is the shepherd. Knowing your place and knowing where you belong is so important. That is the first unification. And once you're there, the second unification is your life partner. Is between you and your husband. Or if you choose not to have a life partner, then being just unified with God is enough. It's important, and it's a whole different conversation. But you cannot be unified with your life partner if you are not first unified with God and understanding that he is above you, you are below, and you are together. And the second unification is with your life partner. And the next unification is with your family, your life partner, and your children, and the next unification after that is community. Once you have unification, you know, from self to family to community, the next is the world. And that's just how impossible unity can be achieved. It's just how it can be done, and it's all in God's hands, and it's all in God's plan. And so I pray for this world and for anybody, and it could just be one person that finds this video, one person, and that's okay. That's okay. Even if it's just one person that watches my video and thinks to themselves, okay, I'll check out this video, or I'll check out this, you know, Parkcrest church in Long Beach. I'll check it out. Then I'm satisfied, you know. I really am. So thank you for watching this, and I hope you have a wonderful day.